Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Omega Files. I'm your host, Dr. Freedom. And tonight we've gathered to talk about one of the first of our films looking into the works of John Carpenter. And this week, we're going to start with 1988's They Live, starring Roddy Piper, Mike Foster, and I believe his name was Keith David. I always get his name reversed. I don't know why. Okay, Let's go around intro the panel. Let's start with Mike Shannon. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, what's up, guys? Great to be here on the Omega Files, man. Thanks for having me.
And back from his tour of celebrities and conventions, Matt Rose. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
All righty. And from down under, AJ.
Hiya.
And here, as we all enjoy him being here, say hello, BJ.
What's up, my people? You, they live. Woo!
Yeah.
It's nice to see folks still, really entertained by this movie 27 years later. Okay, William.
Hey now, how you doing?
And joining us from the UK, from London itself, the fabulous Phillip Archer.
Oh, fabulous. Good evening.
Okay, this movie, oh heck, I don't know how to even describe it in a handful of words. It was underrated, it was overlooked, but at the same time, I can watch this movie now, enjoy it just as much as the first time I watched it, and it also has a lot of strong political messages and undertones in it. But okay, I'm going to go around. Let's get opening thoughts. Let's start with Phillip. What's your opening thoughts on They Live?
Well, it's a simplistic movie to sit and watch. You don't have to overtax your brain about it. It's a simple fact of a man that discovers shade that will show you aliens through the shade, and it's a fun movie. And I watched it last night. I laughed quite a lot through it because it's quite funny in places, and there are certain scenes that there's a particular scene that cracks me up every time I watch it. So I'll let you know further along the line, but it's a pretty good movie.
Okay, let's jump on over to William.
I just finished watching this today, and it's been a long time that I've seen it. It's a great film. It has you can say it has a lot of political statements, so to speak, from something that happened. That film came out in '88. Even you could use it today's political statements. What's been going on? It's a simple, straight movie of Roddy Piper, which, the funny thing is, you don't really know his name, so they made up the one named Nada. That's nobody. So we never know his name. And it's a simple thing. It's a simple, straight story. It's based on a short story that came out a while ago called 8 o'clock in the morning, which I'm going to try to look for if I could read it myself and see how the difference is between the film and the movie.
All righty. And, of course, now we come to BJ. Your turn, BJ.
Yes, I know. Well, what I think of this movie is just a fantastic film. I love it. I would definitely recommend it to anyone that hasn't seen it yet. I love John Carpenter's stuff. The story was great. The acting and the cast choices for the movie, superb. And they're like Phillip said, that there's a couple funny moments, and I I could name a few, but and it's a simple story. Like the good guy, a guy that's discovered something that is very strange, and he ends up to be the good guy and the hero of the story. And and then he gets help from his friend. And they're trying to just stop the bad guys of the film. It's very simple type of film. I love this movie. I absolutely do. Especially like when it comes to the middle and then that's where I think it picks up within the film, and I just love it.
Oh, okay. Next up, Matt Rose.
Hello. I rewatched a bit of it today, and I have to say it was truly an enjoyable film. I've not seen any John Carpenter films before, but this is a good start. They Live. One thing that did bother me was like the start bit was a little bit slow, and then on like a construction site, I'm like, okay, so am I watching the same film that you showed that we had a clip from with the aliens? But then I understood a little later it's the same film, all right. I did like the hero in it, who's not really named, to keep the mystery, which is nice. And he just comes into a bank, just blowing people away with that shotgun. I was like, oh, all right. It's a brilliant, funny film, and he really is an underrated composer as well, because on John Carpenter. This is quite an enjoyable film. I was going into it thinking, a shooter, all right. It's called They Live, all right. But I went away enjoying it more than I'd thought I would. Sorry, let me go again then. I went away enjoying it more than I originally thought I was going to do so.
That's great to hear from a first-time viewer, man. It really, really is. Oh. Okay, next up, Mike Shannon.
Yeah, back in 1987, I was a big wrestling fan, of course. I knew Roddy Piper, the Hot Rod, of course. His battles with Hulk Hogan. They had a skit going on. He was going to leave. He was going to leave the WWF at that time to go to Hollywood, man. And there you go. And this is what we got. So this movie, I remember kind of waiting for it. I mean, I was like 12 years old going into 13, waiting to see what Roddy Piper's going to, pump out movie-wise anyway. And there you go. They Live, which also during that year, Halloween 4 was about to come out. I think they had to kind of split them apart so they weren't in a competition with each other. But remember first seeing it, loved it. Now that you wanted to do this one, which I rewatch every once in a while over the years, like some of us have. I haven't seen it in a couple of years. Rewatched it this morning with my daughter Zoe. Didn't tell her nothing about it. Didn't tell her synopsis, nothing. I said, here, check this. She knows Roddy Piper because she's a wrestling fan. I said, here, check this movie out. Now, she thought, look, a little boring at first, and she don't like really seeing homeless people because, here in our household, we try to help the homeless out when we can. You know what I mean? It's a serious issue. And, we have done some charity things, working at soup kitchens and such, especially with my kids, to help the homeless out. It is a big deal, and it's something to take seriously. So you got to get, when she sees that. But once he put the glasses on and he's walking down the street and he's seeing the different signs saying obey, watch TV, then she's like, oh, shit, what the hell's going on here? And then when he first looked at that one dude, scared the hell out of her, dude. She didn't even know, because she didn't see the cover of it or nothing, so she didn't know what to expect. She got like, holy shit, what the hell is that thing? That thing is creepy. And that's how I felt when I was a kid the first time I saw it. We knew what they were going to look like because the cover of the poster of it kind of ruined it for us. But what a creepy effect they had for the alien creatures, man. Just like skinless humans. She loved it. I loved it, and that's that, man. Cool movie.
Okay, AJ.
I haven't seen this movie for about 20 years, so I watched it again for the podcast, and it's a very enjoyable movie. It is a bit light and slow at the beginning, but picks up quite fast and then has a smashing ending to it. Quite brilliant. The aliens do look kind of like someone poured a vat of acid over someone's face and just left it and goes, yep, that's the effect we're using. Good on you. Other than that, yeah, Roddy Piper did a great job. What was the name of the woman who was in the movie again?
Meg Foster.
Yeah, Meg Foster did a really good job too, especially when she throws the guy out the third-story window. Goes, "I thought I killed you," and quite shocked to see that he's still there, standing in front of her. Other than that, top movie.
Oh, I know. I was watching the I bought the Blu-ray a week or two ago, and I was enjoying this neat little interview they had with Meg Foster, and she was talking about that scene where she hits him across the back of the head with a bottle, and she had to do that several times because she didn't want to hurt Roddy. She knew it was breaking glass, but they finally had to say, "Look, just hit him like you mean it. Hit him really hard." And finally, bam, she did it, and they got the scene they got. And plus the fact they literally had a guy fall out of that window onto a mattress. So it was, that's what I love about these older movies. No CGI, no, practical effects.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's go for favorite parts. Let's start with AJ. We'll go back the other way around. What was your favorite parts of this movie?
The sunglasses, which are basically perception filter blockers, so you can see everything that's on around you. The watches. Pretty much vortex manipulators. You could talk into them, disappear, teleport away. I wrote a few other things down. What else was there? That fight scene in the movie, that was parodied in South Park with the cripple fight.
Cripple fight!
Yeah, it was. I remember that. That was quite good. And using the PKE meters from Ghostbusters as radios.
Yeah, I noticed that too when I rewatched. I'm like, wait a minute, they borrow those from Egon? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike Shandon, your favorite parts of this flick?
Well, let me see my favorite parts of the flick. Of course, the legendary fight scene, man. Cool. And some people get a little like, but I think you know what? It was entertaining. Had some funny bits of that fight scene, and some good choreographed wrestling moves put within that, man, which I like. I don't know. I didn't watch any background on that or anything. I don't know. I don't know if Piper himself had some input on that or whatever, but well done, man. Really cool. Like I said, I watched with my daughter. She loved that. She thought that was really cool. Because just when you thought the fight was over, it continues a couple times, That was great. Of course, when you got Piper busting into the bank, just shooting it up. Another one of when they got that Texas guy towards the end, when they have the Texas guy, he's being all cool with them and shit, you know what I mean, dude? And then you start shooting the guard and shit, man, he gets all scared. But my favorite part that I didn't see coming was when he shot Meg's character at the end. I didn't originally, I wouldn't have thought, he's just like, you traitor. He didn't say that, but basically, you.
Fire truck.
Yeah, exactly. And bam, dude, bam. Shot the satellites, and come on, the end sequence is great. It leaves questions because you want to know more about the alien race, which we don't find out. But when everybody can see them on TV doing a different thing, and the lady's doing the guy, and she's like, "Oh, what the fuck," and he's like, "What?" Good shit, man. There's a lot of great parts. And there's a lot of great one-liners in that movie that are still used today, of course.
Yeah, what I loved was when I went back and watched the interview with John Carpenter that was on the Blu-ray. They asked him about the bank scene, and he goes, "No, the line, 'I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass,' that was Roddy Piper's. He came up with it. That wasn't in the script. He asked him, look, come up with something to say, when you bust into this bank," and he passed the line to him, and he liked it so much he made sure to include it in the movie. And also in the fight scene, he did say there was one or two definite moves he wanted on camera, and I can't remember which couple they were. So when you saw a couple of the wrestling moves in there, that was the John Carpenter wanted to include.
Cool.
So, and since we've already went ahead and broke the F rule, I might as well go ahead and throw this one.
I'm sorry, man. Because we're not talking about Doctor Who. You get loosened up a little.
But I have to quote this. I was gonna dodge around it, but I gotta say it. They asked him in the interview. He goes, and he looks up and he goes, "Everybody asks me about this movie. Should I have at least cut down some of the fight sequence?" He looks right into the camera and goes, "No." So that was a direct quote from John Carpenter. Beautiful. Okay, BJ, favorite parts of the movie?
Well, my favorite parts, let's see. I would say that my favorite parts is the bank scene that everybody, like you guys were just talking about. And like where he says the bubblegum and everything and kick ass. And another part I would say the ending, like where they crash the party and kick ass and everything, and try and basically kill all the aliens that they could find and see in sight. The only thing I was basically didn't like and surprised and was shocked when I first saw this film for the first time. This is actually my second time watching it in a very long while. But the only thing I didn't really like and surprised and shocked, like I said, was the girl turning on them and basically joining up with the bad guys. I was just shocked and didn't like that she joined up with them. So, but other than that, I did those two parts that I just mentioned. I liked.
Okay, William.
What stood out, cause was when he went into the market and he told that lady that she looked ugly and all bad. I mean, that's I liked that part. I know another part that after watching it today that stood out was when Nada met Holly and they drove off. If you notice that no cops on foot or on car ever stopped her car to check it, so that made me realize till later on we find out that she was with them, and it looked like she might have been with them from the very beginning. That's she has. If you notice, she lives in a lavish house, lavish furniture. It looked like she's been with them since the beginning. Is that we don't see it to the ending. So that's why if you notice when the cops passed by, they didn't stop her at all. So that stood out for me. And it was pretty cool that it took a while to realize it, but that stood out. Of course, the fight that inspired the South Park cripple fight that will live in the history for a long time. And that great scene. It was a great movie. That's what stood out for me right now.
Okay, Philip.
I'm going to echo everybody else with the cripple fight. That went on for ages. And I thought, and just as Mike said, when you thought it was finished, he just gets up, you bastard, and more fighting. And that was brilliant. That's my laugh out loud moment of the movie, of the whole movie, that stuff. And then I like the fact where the Meg Foster cracked him over the head and chucked him through that window. That was, I didn't expect that. I forgot. I've seen the film ages ago, but I forgot about that scene. And when she did that, I was like, what the fuck? Down. And you know what? It's a good movie, and I'd watch it again, which I will do again later on tonight, because it is really, really great. And one thing I do have a Meg Foster. I've seen her in many films, other programs before, but her face is the most weirdest face I've ever seen. It's like looking at an alien woman. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's her eyes or
it's her eyes. She has that nice colored eyes.
Her eyes makes you just go, you're not a real woman. You're some sort of alien. I don't know what you are, but she's weird. But, at the end of the day, she was good in the movie as well.
Yeah, Mademoiselle magazine dubbed her, quote-unquote, the eyes of 1979 because she has a very distinctive look. Matter of fact, it really helped her play a part when she was Evelyn in the Masters of the Universe movie. And also, various other roles she's been in. And by the way, just so we can get this out, no relation to Jodie Foster, okay? There's a lot of people that think she's related. She's not. Okay, Matt Rose, favorite parts of the movie?
Oh, I love the bank scene. He just comes in and he just strolls in, just looks at them and just guns them down. Those people's like, oh, all right. And then that infamous scene where he has the sunglasses, looking at that guy in the car, he just keeps staring at him, checking if it's reality. And I was like, what? Taking those glasses on and off. I did get creeped out a bit as well when he saw that wording that was on those billboards. I thought, how can this be right? It's a really, I really loved that is my highlight. I just love the bank scene and the infamous fight at the end. It, as everyone has already, I'm echoing people here as well. The way Meg Foster's character, that was just a surprise. Honestly, that was. This is going into my top 10 favourite film list. This is for.
Okay, next up, let's talk about some of the characters in this movie. What were some of your favorite characters in this flick? Let's start with Philip this time.
Okay, well, it's going to have to be Roddy Piper and, of course, Keith David. Those two are just like comedy duo for me. So those two are my favorite characters. I like Meg Foster, but like I said, her face has put me off a little bit. I don't know why, but it did. But Keith David and Roddy Piper, my two favorite characters.
Okay. How about you, AJ? What's your favorite characters in this movie?
I don't really have a favourite. I think they all sort of pulled their part and actually played their part to a T. There's no real favourite that stands out.
Okay. Matt, Rose, were there any characters you really liked that you thought were your favorites in this movie?
Echoing what Philip said, Roddy Piper and the other guy as well. They were just standout characters to me. All the actors done it well, even the extras as well. They all had their roles to fill, and it was a great job.
Okay, William.
Well, besides Roddy Piper, I liked it. Meg Foster because, like I said earlier, you didn't realize to the near the end there that she was always a collaborator with the aliens. Of course, the guy that Roddy Piper met in the beginning, that he's another collaborator, the Texas guy. He stood up because you never expected that out of him. That's how come. If you notice in certain scenes, starting with the police and the bulldozer tearing down the homeless area, he had to be the one to tell them where it was, and the church. And then again, even though Meg Foster character was in the house, he had to be the one to tell the police where all of them was gathering up before they could shoot them down. And if you notice, Meg Foster character wasn't shot. They let her go. So that he stood out real good as a character.
If I remember right, that's George Buck Flower. George Buck Flower. And if you watch John Carpenter's movies, he has a cameo in almost every single one of them as some character, going all the way back to The Fog, and I think beyond. It's just funny as hell. He always pops up somewhere in the movie, kind of like Sam Raimi with his yellow Oldsmobile. It's always somewhere in there. Okay, next up, BJ. Favorite characters?
Well, my two favorite characters, because basically I just have two, is just the two main ones, the two heroes of the film in a sense, and that's just basically it. I have no more favorites than that. So.
Okay, what about you, Mike?
Well, I'll definitely go with Piper's character. Again, a mystery. We don't even know who he is. We don't know where he came from. You notice he's wearing a wedding ring. What the hell is going on with this guy? We got nothing on him. He's such a mystery.
Not even his name. We never hear his name.
Yeah, exactly. To turn out to be such a badass, gets me thinking, where the hell did this guy come from? To be suspicious about the church across the street, to investigate. Where did he come from, man? And it was never answered in the movie. So he's definitely my favorite character. I did like the Meg Foster character as a villain, I guess. Like you said, the scene with her in the apartment with him. And, of course, the end scene, where you totally saw she turned, she was, one of them, a supporter of the alien race there. But, yeah, such a mystery Piper's character was, man. That was cool. That was cool.
That's one element of this film I liked. I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor if anyone wants to hop in. It kind of reminded me of the Man with No Name movies. Eastwood. where you had the guy blowing into town and then suddenly everything goes crazy. You never find out who this guy was, where he came from, or anything in his background. That's what I really liked about this movie, as well as the fact that you've got an everyman character who's just walking into this situation, and next thing you know, boom, he's the hero. And
Yeah. I mean, do you guys have any thoughts on, like, does anybody have an idea of where they think he might have came from?
Well, you notice he brought his own tools, so he worked in construction.
Right.
And of course he had his hand, and you notice he had a wedding band, so he must have been married.
Right. When he went to the welfare office, where did he
that was the Department of Labor. Yeah,
did he mention where he worked? Was it a bank or something?
He said he worked in Denver. His last job was in Denver.
Okay.
That the job was being bought up, so they let everybody go. But he never, you never hear him mention about that he's married, or he has kids.
Right.
Or what he did prior to construction, was he ever in the military, anything like that? Because the way you see him handling guns, he know how to use it.
Yeah, man. He wasn't a pussy, man.
Was there ever a remake made of this movie, or is this?
No, it's a shock that they never did I mean, it was first originally a book. It was first a book, and then of course a novella that John Carpenter made as a movie, like he did with The Thing. But I'm shocked that he never thought of making a sequel or maybe another book sequel to the movie.
Yeah, because I was, like what Michael said, I was a bit shocked that he got killed at the end. I thought he would walk off into the sunset. Yeah, I beat the alien, but no.
Well, he gave him the finger, so that's good for them.
But we can't do a sequel with a finger now, can we? I bet.
Well, you know what? We'll notice a little bit of that discussing some of the other Carpenter movies.
Hold on. I just want to point out here that John Carpenter's movies, they're good in that way. Like, you don't know that much about, like, some of the characters, perhaps, or even, like, if you notice, like, in all of his films, if any of you seen, like, his films, every ending is mostly a cliffhanger. So that's what makes his movies good. I love that about his movies.
No, that's nothing wrong with that, but we would like to see maybe a sequel film or maybe a book follow-up to what happens after Roddy Piper's character gets shot and everybody realizes there are aliens among us. Do they start killing them right there, or what? Or a war breaks out?
Yeah, but what I want to know is, was it a worldwide domination thing? Because
that's what Holly, the female character, was saying that is, and the Texans guy was saying that it's been going on for years and they're all over the world like that.
Yeah, there's no other side anymore. They're in charge. That's
they invaded secretly, man, for years. With their trans mats, man. How crazy is that, man? We know nothing. We know nothing about that alien race at all. Nothing. Other than they wanted to colonize here. And they looked at us like a third world country, our whole planet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did, didn't they? Third world.
And now I'm really going to get philosophical. How many people, especially you guys who watch your classic Doctor Who, think of the Sunmakers?
Okay, taxation and all that, yeah.
Don't you think commercial imperialism is just as bad as military conquest, is what the Doctor asked the Assyrian at the end of the episode. And this is a classic example of it. These guys didn't come in with bombs, guns, or this big, massive, the city-wiping weapon like they have in ID4. They just came in and took over with money. Also, another philosophical thing, how many of you guys here, when you sat down and watched this movie, and when he puts on the glasses, were reminded of The Matrix?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
But you notice that when he opened the magazines and he saw the billboards, all those subliminal signs and all that, that's happening today. You can hear it in supermarkets or shopping area. They play those little music stuff, and then they hear the advertisement to buy this and get this.
William, don't do that. You're scary.
That's the way it's been. It's been the thing that you always hear a little subliminal message in the supermarkets like that.
I think this has been a long time, but I believe I believe John Carpenter put that product placement thing in there on purpose, and it wasn't in that original short story, the 8 o'clock story. And it was something that personally happened to him where he noticed there was this ads everywhere, and every other filmmakers making movies just putting product placements everywhere in the movies. He wasn't really too big on that, man. So it was like a personal thing, which turned out to be great in the movie, man. But yeah, like you guys are saying, if they ever did a sequel or a prequel, yeah, I'd be excited. If it was done right,
The writer who wrote 8 o'clock in the morning is still alive, so that's a shock he never followed up that story.
That's true. Well, there you go. That's true too. So, yeah, but never heard anything, dude. Once that movie was released, I never heard nothing, dude. And we've heard of them making sequels to movies that never pan out, but I never heard nothing from They Live, man. And it's a shame. It's a really good movie for those of us that know about it.
Well, it's funny. The movie was only made for $3 million. $3 million. And they made almost $15 million in the United States alone.
And if you watch an interview, I just watched this the other day, and I think it was up on YouTube. They had Keith David and Roddy Piper at a convention. I think it was this past a couple years ago. And they brought up the fact that it was funny. This movie came out, it hit the box office, and then suddenly it just disappeared. All the advertising was gone. All of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, it was making money. Where did it go? So if you conspiracy theorists out there, man, you may want to check into that.
I know, right? You know what it did, though? It went with name all the other movies that were out in '88, and then we're getting to '89, where that was just Batman. That was it.
Yeah,
Batman. Man, that blocked everything out, man. Even though there was a lot of good movies happening during that time, and I guess They Live kind of fell victim to that, man. But it's cool. Look, little Brian knows about it. We got Matt. So younger guys are getting, being able to check this out by us older guys, recommending different movies. And my daughter got to check it out. She thought it was a really cool movie. So it's something I would definitely recommend for you younger guys out there watching this. They Live, Roddy Piper, honestly his only good movie, in my opinion. Like you like frogs?
No, I didn't like the frog one.
I don't know. I like Roddy Piper, but he wasn't really.
Yeah, well, like you said, when you said earlier, Michael, about him being an ex-wrestler, I didn't realise until now that you said that he was a wrestler.
Yeah, he was a big.
You tell me he gave the clothesline.
Well, he was a
suplex and a power slam.
He was a big named wrestler. Just not as big as Hulk Hogan, but he was like Hulk Hogan's villain at one time. You know what I mean? He was the bad guy for Hulk Hogan at one point, and that's when he was going to leave the WWF. It's like, forget wrestling. I'm going to become a movie star, man.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense of the fight scenes then.
Roddy Piper, as we knew him mainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad that they used Keith David after the last John Carpenter movie he did of The Thing. And then they used him for this movie. He played it pretty great, and in both movies.
Yeah,
that's one thing I have noticed. Though John Carpenter rarely does sequels. That's why I was shocked when Escape from L.A. came out. There have been remakes of his movies done, but he's usually producing them. He's not directing them, and that's it's what I kind of like about him, because even though he does leave you hanging, like I'd give anything to see a They Live sequel or Return to Little China or anything like
The Thing.
Or, The Thing. There was a game out called The Thing. I believe it was supposed to be like a sequel to it, but, that wasn't his thing. That was a video game company did that one.
Right.
I just love his flicks. He always has a character in there who's like an everyman character. Just your basic, average, everyday Joe Public. And then he throws this amazing situation at him. Like, if I remember right, Stephen King did something similar to this with it was a short story called The 10 O'Clock People. Except in that case, the 10 o'clock people were the people who went out to have a smoke break at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it didn't affect heavy smokers, and it didn't affect non-smokers. But the guys who smoked just that enough could see this hidden species amongst them. So it was kind of like They Live in a way. And now, joining us a little bit late because of the time difference, Graham. Hey, Graham, how's it going?
Hey man, how we doing? Apologies for my tardiness.
Don't worry, we go back to 5 hours behind you later this evening, man.
Oh, thank God for that. I'm in a whirlwind here, man. Jeez.
Oh we're just getting a little bit of after discussion on They Live, but now that you're here, I want to ask you, what were your opening thoughts on They Live?
I remember watching this back in the day, and for a story concept that was, well, by today's standards, sublimely simple. It was something for back in the late 80s. Brave choice by John Carpenter. Casting Roddy Piper, a pro wrestler, is one of the leading men in the role. And why am I echoing? Brian, headphones.
Okay.
As I say, the story is sublimely simple. Aliens invade, they corrupt the wealthy and the elites, and they basically have them do their bidding. It just goes to show you guys that finding a box of sunglasses in a church can lead to a hell of a lot of trouble. That much talked about 5.5-minute fight scene, which apparently took 3 weeks to rehearse. I still love that to this day. I know a lot of people find it kind of corny and dragged out and whatnot, but that's gold for me. I really enjoyed that. Megan Foster as Holly. Kind of felt sorry for her in the beginning, and as the movie draws to a close, you're like, what a bitch. I'm glad she got her comeuppance.
Well, that tells you that she was always with them, if you follow the movie carefully.
Yeah. What a bitch. I'm glad what ended up happening to her happened to her. And of course, we've got the dramatic ending, on the rooftop with the broadcast satellite, middle finger right there. I might be on my way out, but so the hell are yous. And it just goes to show you guys, if you're going to, especially right at the end of the movie, if you're going to pick up a stranger of the night and have a booty call, make sure you have your sunglasses present. So there you go. Open the box, mate.
Yeah, let's hope he was wearing a condom.
That too.
Oh. Okay.
Real quick. Also, I don't know if we mentioned John Carpenter had part of doing the music, composing the music in this also.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was a lot the same. Like you had the same rhythm going a lot during the movie, which was cool because it went along. It went perfectly. It was almost like not as or Roddy Piper's character's like theme song. Man, it was kind of cowboyish in a way, dude.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It fit well with him.
Plus, Matt told us earlier, he'd watched this movie for the first time, and he really enjoyed it. Was there anything else you wanted to throw in on it now that we've been having this big, deep philosophical discussion on it, Matt? Being a first-time viewer?
Well, it is going back into my watch again pile because I was going into this film not knowing what would be of it. I went away, and it is definitely one I would watch more than once yet again.
But this is Matt's first John Carpenter movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
First time you've seen the movie.
Your watch again pile is going to grow over the next couple.
Yeah. I've just got to throw in a huge prop for Keith David as well. I thought he did a pretty solid outing in this.
He did good, and you know what? Check him out on IMDb. That guy has been in a lot of different things, man. He has, man, and he's still busy today, so that's cool. Good
that's
on
cool,
him.
Man. Yeah.
Am I of the understanding, the bit where you see them on that transport platform and they're shooting off into space? Is that where they're colonizing other worlds as well as Earth at the same time?
Yeah. It was Andromeda, was it? Was it Andromeda?
Something like that. I don't know if they ever named a specific homeworld for him. I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Then they named the planet. They said they're going back to the Andromeda system.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Also, I love the fact that the aliens for this movie was just a simple latex mask with the silver eye covers.
Yeah.
That's all they were. It was just really simple makeup job on this one. It wasn't anything overly complex, and it worked because they creeped the hell out of me.
Oh yeah.
I also love the fact that they're meeting for the resistance, as it were, is meeting for the top secret underground meeting, and then 5 minutes later they're all killed.
Oh, maybe not. Oh man, I just love John Carpenter's movies. Just simple, direct, to the point. It's outright great stuff, man. I can't even come up with words for it.
And it is also good that they can know after the fight scene that normally you don't get to see bruised up faces, but when you after the fight,
when you see them go to the hotel,
it made you think maybe they got a little hurt doing that, man. Because I don't, who knows?
No, it was funny. I read somewhere that fight scene was loosely based off of the fight scene in the movie The Quiet Man with John Wayne and was it Alex McLaughlin?
I'd have to go back and look.
I have to check on that.
Alex McLaughlin, all right.
Hello, you.
That's McQueen. That's a different Alex.
Yeah, but when they got to that hotel, man, you see them all bruised up.
Yeah,
they couldn't even take their shirt off. They were hurting that bad.
Not to mention some of the great one-liners in this movie, man.
Hell yeah.
It's not only a good kind of alien sci-fi flick. It's a good action flick, man. Good mix,
cool,
really, and funny, and kind of like you said with the one-liners and all in it, man. Great.
Line is the middle of the road. That's the last place you want to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Although I've got to say, whoever the stunt guy was that performed that scene when he get bottled out the bloody well.
I know the window.
Oh my God, man! Jeez. That was one hell of a drop.
Yeah, they have an interview with Meg Foster on the Blu-ray. And like I said, I can't recommend it enough. If you can get your hands on it, get the Blu-ray. It includes an interview with John Carpenter and an interview with Meg Foster. And they go over a lot of this stuff in there. And it's just great stuff to hear. Okay, guys. Anything else we want to bring up before we bring it to a close?
Well, if you've already done ratings, I'll give it a 9.
We're about to hit that.
Right.
Life's a bitch, and she's back in heat.
Love that line, yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and let's rate this one, and we'll put it away. All right, Mike Shannon, out of 10, how do you rate They Live?
I'll rate it when I first saw it, man. I loved it. I got to see it in the theater, man. And it was one, Graham wasn't here earlier. I don't know if he remembers, but when Piper was kind of promoting this movie, beforehand, so some of the wrestling fans knew it was coming. I was looking forward to it, and I left the theater. I was completely satisfied. I give it a 10, man. It's perfect for what it is. It's a very unusual kind of standalone movie, man. A 10 for what it is, man. It's a cool movie. Always entertaining for me to watch, man.
Okay, AJ, how do you rate it?
I'll rate it a 9 out of 10. The title They Live is a little confusing. I probably would have called it They're Walking Amongst Us or They're Here or something like that. But other than that, 9 out of 10.
Okay, BJ, how do you rate this movie out of 10?
Well, I would rate this movie probably I would give it maybe not 9 out of 10.
All righty. William.
Oh, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's a great movie. Even though they say in the war, they say they live, we sleep. So that's why it stands out. That's that title. With it's written on the wall. Yeah. The only reason why I didn't give it a 10 because when the guys was watching TV, they showed that horrible old movie, The Monolith Monsters. I
Okay, Philip.
Just for the fight scenes and for the whole sort of the whole movie itself is superb. And like I said, I'm going to watch it again tonight. So I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 as well.
Okay, Matt Rose, out of 10.
For its great use of mixing action, sci-fi, I would definitely give it a 10, and the humor was spot on. Loved it.
Awesome to hear from a first-time viewer, man. And, of course, joining us late, but always important to this cast, Graham McLaughlin, what do you give They Live?
I always give this a solid 9, Brian. The only thing that kind of drags it down for me is I've always maintained since I watched it, even way back in the day, that the ending was kind of weak. To quote Chris Eccleston's Doctor, everybody lives. Well, apparently in this movie, everybody dies. So,
You're not supposed to go back, though.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's good. You know, it was good for what it was, man. You know, everybody died, but at the same time, they were uncovered. But okay, they were uncovered. But what the hell happened next? So, solid 9 for me, man. Top notch movie.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Though, why they never made either a sequel or a book sequel?
Because they went and made Welcome to Frogtown and said, "The hell with this, Vince? Where's my paycheck?"
Me personally, oh come on, I'm a little bit biased, but I got to agree with Matt Rose. It's a brilliant mix of action, sci-fi, and not to mention an incredible, underlying messages about, corporate America and, the hidden societies that, hide, but, if you're a conspiracy theorist, the Illuminati, or whatever, the hidden society.
Ooh, Graham.
It tells a very powerful message.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give this baby a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. And if the NSA are listening, the Illuminati does not exist. Anyway.
It's just fiction. It is. We don't really believe it exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you believe it?
I'm thinking about having that made up into a sound wave. I won't have to do that. Okay, guys. Well, next week, we're all going to sit here and gather. Get out your pens and pencils. Because our next stop will take us back a few years before they live. Matter of fact, William, you should be feeling very at home. Our next movie for next week, Escape from New York.
Oh, I've never watched that.
Kurt Russell, okay.
Is that one with Kurt Russell?
Yes.
All right. Thumbs up.
I'm still trying to escape from New York.
Russell, Van Cleef, Adrian Barbeau. That's just to name the first 3 off the top of my head.
Donald Pleasence.
Yep.
Special Liberty.
Pleasence was in this one. I'm trying to think of the guy who played.
He was the president.
Yeah, I'm not trying to remember the. No, what's puzzling me is the guy who played the brain, because he was also an alien. It'll pop up in my head about a half hour after we finish the cast. That's it usually goes. Yeah, lots of good actors in that movie, especially Lee Van Cleef, who up to that point was known for westerns and whatnot.
Yeah,
was also the master ninja on TV. Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to go around and get farewells from everyone. So let's start with Graham. Give us a farewell.
Thanks for having me, Brian. It's been a while. It was good to be back, albeit it was only a cameo.
Well, we're going to be back on 5 hours behind you starting next week. So, okay, Matt Rose.
It has been a pleasure. Au revoir.
All right, Philip Archer.
People, always walk around with your sunglasses because you never know who you're going to be looking at. Okay? See you next week.
Especially in the youth. Yes.
And ladies out there, be careful who you have sex with.
Yeah.
And you'll get what I mean when you see the last couple minutes of this flick. Okay, William.
The brain, the actor's name was Harry Dean Stanton.
That's who it was. Harry Dean. I always forget his name.
Thank you for having me here. Can't wait to be here next week.
All right, BJ.
Always great to be here, and can't wait for the new movie, Escape from New York. John Carpenter with his movies, Rule. See ya. Take care. Bye for now.
BJ.
Deja vu, anyone? Oh, God.
Hello, AJ. You there?
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for having me, guys, and it was a great movie, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Oh, my God. I've turned into a cat again. How did that happen? Oh, well. All right, and Mike Shannon.
Yeah, thanks for having me here, guys, on the Omega Files. Make sure you check out Dr. Freedom's interview with Simon Fisher Becker, man, which is awesome, by the way, man.
Yeah,
I want to say Great job on that, bro. That was freaking awesome. There'll be more to come for sure. For sure.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There will
Also,
be,
keep
man.
your eyes out for Simon's book, My Dalek Has a Puncture. That'll be out later this year.
What a title.
Promotes it all the time on his Facebook page. Pay attention, Phillip.
Yeah. Okay, well, until next time, guys. Next week, Escape from New York. We'll see you all later. Have a good one. Later.
Take care.
Bye.